Okay, welcome everyone to part two of this amazing conversation with Janet Connor on her birthday. It's Janet's birthday party to talk about the astonishing collaboration that she's leading this summer and that you're all invited to join on. And Janet, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, it felt like a really sacred and important place to start because we are just still under this Sagittarius 24 full moon. And I am, thanks to Marcia telling Emma Kupu Mitchell about Inside Degrees, I'm a little addicted to this book. And I always, at the beginning of every lunar cycle, I read the dark moon, I read the full moon. Today being my birthday, I reread my natal moon, my sun. This is the energy we're in right now. I even got a picture to show you. I thought you'd get a kick out of it if you haven't seen this before. Just let these words wash over you. This is what the universe wants us to know right now. Sagittarius 24, the symbol is a statue of Isis covered by a transparent veil. The one who lives inside is awash in colors, tones, and symbolic ritual displays of an extraordinary, precise attunement to the heart and the soul of ancient wisdom. You are suspended in a long ago time. That sentence just makes me sing because that's how I think we all feel. We are suspended. We've been suspended for 5,000 years in this patriarchal, one male God, abuse of the feminine, abuse of the earth. And our hearts and our souls know that ancient wisdom before we were told all those lies. That's such a great sentence. You are suspended in a long ago time. So much of your being is still back there. The evolution of the world since the ancient times is neither acknowledged nor accommodated in any way. Isn't that the perfect description of living in a patriarchal society? It all depends upon whether this exquisite gift of soul remembrance, this is a time of soul remembrance, is honored or exploited. If it is honored, the expanded faculties. Now, what are they? Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. If it is honored, the expanded faculties on tap become revitalized and find a fresh relevance. And here's how it ends. As the divine feminine reveals what we need to know and draws us to our utmost capacity, it is with an unfallen grace of sensing directly into the deepest parts of people and all they can become in the ancient future just ahead. This phrase, the ancient future just ahead, it sets me singing because that's everything Remembering the Songlines of the Witches is about. That your soul remembers, and we remember what it was like before patriarchy. And so it's an ancient memory that's just ahead. And that's how time just bends, and you couldn't intellectually. Isn't that always the way with these, Marcia? If you try to say, I can figure this mystical Chandra out, you can't. And you don't want to, right? Those words, which are the angel of every single one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac, they like activate my cells every time I return, every time I read. And I've read Sagittarius 24 a lot because that's my natal Jupiter, right? It's my natal Jupiter. Yeah. And every time I reread it, it's still, oh, oh. So I thought that was a fun way to begin, because this is the energy we're all in. I'm reading it to you and I love it, but it's a universal energy, right, Marcia?
Yes, and Isis unveiled is such a powerful symbol for this last full moon before the solstice, 1 week before this journey of remembering begins, because Isis was herself such a virtuoso in the process of transforming energy to transform the world. You know, her life unfolded in a time that was maybe closer to the chaos of the times we're living in than any other time on the planet. And she, without Isis, without her willingness to listen to her inner voice, when her beloved husband was murdered, when I know everyone around her in the palace where she and Osiris were, I think of them almost as like the JFK and Jackie Kennedy of ancient Egypt. They were young, they were beautiful, they were progressive, and Osiris was murdered by his brother, his jealous brother who wanted what Osiris had. To your point earlier, Janet, about the greed of the dominators, always wanting more and more, never satisfied. So I'm sure those in Isis's inner circle were saying to her, you've got to move on, you've got to get a grip, life goes on. But that is not what Isis did. In the old stories, it's described that she went outside of herself. She actually went very deeply into herself. She wasn't caring about how she looked. She moved away from the palace, and then she had a vision. And that vision was that she and Osiris weren't finished, that they were meant to have a child. I'm sure anyone that she told that to was saying, oh, come on, Isis, now really get a grip. But this was someone who, even as a child, had tricked the sun into disclosing to her secrets that had never been shared, the creation secrets. And so when she found Osiris's body, she, out of her own connection with the universe, with the creation fields, she brought him back to life. Not long enough to be here forever, just long enough to conceive this divine child, the good future. And I do believe that the moon has told us this week. She's whispered it to every one of us because she's part of us. We're not separate from her, that it's time for us to conceive the good future. And that's why we're having this second call, to tell you a little more about what we're all feeling and what Janet is leading us all to collaborate in together, conceiving the good future. Not out there in the world, and I'm not saying what we go and do out there is not vitally important, but the place where everything begins is in our own hearts, in our own souls. And so, Janet, I would love for you to tell us more about what this journey of remembering is going to, how we're going to hold this magical space of the creation fields together over the next year.
Well, we're going to do it with the help of the dead. Because if you're just handed this assignment, okay, honey, wake up, it's time to change the world. You know, it's so overwhelming. So it's all about this word witch. And in part one, we talked about that witch is the most sacred, the holiest, the most magnificent thing a woman could be called for thousands and thousands of years. because it's all of your sacramental gifts.
Which is exactly why they've turned that word into a scary word.
And just in case anybody wasn't here for part one, here's just one sentence from Max Dashew's book, Witches and Pagans, that will sort of wake up. See how this doesn't make you go, hey, wait a second. Yeah, there's a part of me that remembers this. The oldest names for witch in European languages emphasize their spiritual gifts. Powers of prophecy, divination, incantation, Janet would translate that to prayer, healing, herbal knowledge, shape-shifting, and shamanic flight. The old witch titles honored these women as cultural authorities. You're an authority. You're an authority. And there's a part of you, me, all of us, lifetime after lifetime, that has been carrying this and is slowly, right now, I see so many women waking up to this word witch. And so many people, women gathering in feminine communities. Well, what is that? That's this sacred word coming alive. So, the place to begin is with a few witches. And there will be 11, one for each of 11 dark moons. Our opening ceremony with Sabin Bailey is this Tuesday because it's the solstice, right? We've got to begin on solstice. But then the following Saturday, we meet our first witch. And we do already know who he is because we met him at the Return of the Witches pilgrimage last year. He was wildly active. He just kept talking through Sabin Bailey, who's with us right now. She could tell you a thing or two about Ernst. And what he kept saying to everyone, and he has in his ancestral lineage, which is Susie von Menzenkamp's, one of the three of us creating this, he, in their lineage, she is her grandfather-in-law. He died in 1945. He kept saying, this is not history. And isn't that the mistake we make? We say, well, they burned women for 300 years, but that ended in the 1750s, so let's move on. No, he kept screaming at us. This is happening now. This is happening now. What are you going to do? So he announced very clearly through Sabin that he's leading the show. He's our first witch. Now, instead of just hearing his story, he wants us to wake up. He wants that story and his medicine. We're using the language seed medicine. He is coming through the veil of time to bring us a gift. Seed medicine. Each one of these 11 is going to bring us a seed medicine. And we need all 11. The first one, we know. His seed medicine is speak truth and speak it now. Okay, so what are we going to do with that medicine? And I'll show you a little picture because instead of me just yak, and looking at the picture might help this come alive. So we're going to meet him on the Saturday before his dark moon, which is Cancer 8. And he's going to bring us this little seed. See that little seed at the bottom of the hex? And we're going to learn his story. And Marcia and Emma are even going to bring us the celestial background to his story. But before we can bring the medicine of Janet, Kathy, Margaret, speak truth and speak it now, we got to deal with this, the shadow. This is the 5,000 years of what? What's the opposite of speak truth and speak it now? Being silenced. allowing other people to silence us, silencing ourselves. When we've wrestled with the story and the emotions and the sadness and the shadow, now we're ready for an alchemical transformation. We're going to gather in little pods, little groups of hex maidens, and I don't know, some people might actually want to have a tiny fire. They might want to take a few words and actually transmute them, send them up. So now you're empty. The space where his precious seed medicine of speak truth and speak it now, it's no longer covered by the shadow. It's no longer covered by the creepy story. It's no longer covered by history. You're empty, you're open, you're free. And so now, here's the magic. He's going to give you a prayer you've never said before. And he's going to give you his song. And so, witch by witch by witch by witch, you're going to receive, embody 11 sacred, ancient, glorious seed medicines. We know another one, because a couple of these witches are slowly coming forward. We don't have them all. But we know that one of the medicines, she woke me 2 nights ago and told me, listen to this medicine. Open your eyes and peel away the lies. We're going to spend an entire lunar cycle in the month of August opening our eyes and peeling away the lies. So, slowly, with one another, working together in our big hive and in a small pod or hex that could be the people who live around you if you want to get together, or it could be on Zoom. We will embody. These seeds are going to come alive in us. So what's the point? When you have 11 of these astonishing, powerful medicines, witches who have stepped through time to give us this medicine, you're ready for the big medicine. And you know who the big medicine is? It's yourself. It's yourself. So I'll show you a little picture of this. This is it's the reason you're alive and the reason to come to remembering the songlines of the witches. This is the image. I think you've all seen it. This is the symbol. And so, witch by witch by witch by witch, slowly we take in these seeds and look where we end on the 12th seed medicine. This is you. This is the witch you came here to be. This is the mystic witch you have carried in your natal chart and in your soul lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, afraid to bring her to life. So that this is a queen bee, and the queen bee, you can always recognize her because she's elongated. She is planting this pip seed, this little tiny seed in that cell, and it's you. Now, so that's you in the future. Remember that sentence in the Sagittarius 24 was the ancient future just ahead. What's just ahead? You coming to the fullness of the goddess, mystic, witch, sacred, divine, feminine being you came here to be. She's right there. Can almost see her. And she is saying, I see you. I see you. And I am remembering you into being. So the 11 seed medicines build in our body. And for those of you, you're all Marcia's friends, so you probably all know that every one of the zodiac signs activates a part of your body. So Cancer, we're going to meet Ernst von Menzenkamp at a Cancer 8 dark moon. And Cancer 8 is in your breasts and chest. So you know what we're going to do in ceremony? We're going to take his seed medicine. We're going to say, okay, thank you, Ernst. Thank you for speak truth and speak it now. And we're going to literally put it in our bodies. And then help it grow over the time of that lunar cycle. And then we're going to meet the next witch and their sacred medicine in a new lunar cycle and place that medicine in our body so that we're sort of, I don't want to use the word constructing, we're awakening the goddess that we really are until we're ready next summer solstice to totally welcome the 12th witch, the mystic witch, the witch in the not yet, who is the ancient past in the future just ahead. And you know who knows her? She's right there in your natal chart. I'll show you quickly this again. The moon, this is all about the moon, right? So we're going to meet each witch on the dark moon. We're going to spend 3 lunar cycles really, really, really getting to know our natal moon and the mysteries she carries. But look at this baby. That's Black Moon Lilith. Did you see on the little poster for today's conversation, there was a picture of Black Moon Lilith that Emma Kupu's daughter created for us. She's going to create glyphs for all of them. Black Moon Lilith is the mystic witch you came here to be, right, Marcia? Tell us a little bit about, I know I love her and I'm opening to her and I read my Black Moon Lilith and I talk to her every day and I have prayers with her, but you're the astrological genius. Tell us a little bit about Black Moon Lilith.
Well, Black Moon Lilith was discovered astrologically in the 1920s, which was a very powerful time in the evolution of the feminine. And that is when a dwarf planet named Eris, who embodies that same power that Ernst does, the power to speak truth to power. She's the paradigm shattering truth in all of us. It seems so fitting that when Black Moon Lilith, that when Eris, the dwarf planet, came to Aries for the first time in 500 years, one of the first things that would happen is that Black Moon Lilith would be discovered astrologically. Lilith's roots, though, go all the way back, way before the patriarchy, back to the time before these waves of conquerors rode in first into the cultures of old Europe, then the cultures of the Mediterranean, then of the Near and Middle East, cultures where for tens of thousands of years there had been no war, there had been no weapons, where we lived in collaborative cultures. That memory is in all of us. The memory never fully embodied since the Paleolithic era of when we truly were sovereign. And that's the memory that Black Moon Lilith carries in each of us. And the reason we know that is because as the Paleolithic gave way to the Neolithic, to what we've been taught was the beginning of civilization, was the beginning of dominator civilization. And at that time, there are myths about Lilith, many, many myths throughout the Near and Middle East. They're all a little different, like all the myths. And astrology is a kind of cosmic myth making. And we'll all hear as we go through this journey, just as there are many Liliths, there are many astrologies. And they're all part of a truth that is too big and too magical for our minds to fully comprehend. So each each version brings a different part of the truth. But we know Lilith always is accompanied by the two things that define her: her sacred bird and her sacred serpent. And there are serpent and bird goddesses throughout the Paleolithic, as these myths of Lilith, stories of the first woman, stories that always end with Lilith realizing that Adam intends to dominate her, to exploit her, to abuse her. And in every story, Lilith is like, well, it's not always Adam. It's Adam in the Hebrew myth. In the Sumerian myth, it was Gilgamesh who cut down Lilith's tree and left her with no choice to do what she does in every version of the myth. She flees to the wilderness. She says, if you think that you're going to do this to me, you've got another thought coming. If I have to live in the wilderness for 100,000 years, so be it. I'm out of here. See ya. And so she hasn't been present in her full embodied self for thousands of years throughout the history of this culture of domination. But she hasn't been gone. She is in the birth chart, the place in the moon's orbit, and we can think of a planet's orbit as the space that it holds in our shared reality and our personal reality. The moon's orbit is the space for our emotional intelligence, our dreaming wisdom, our intuitive knowledge. And Black Moon Lilith is the wildest, most sovereign, untamed part of the moon's orbit. She's the furthest point from Earth, the safe space where that wildness in us, who's never had mind, spirit, and body severed, as they've tried to do to every woman who has ever been alive since the dominators rode in, slaughtered all the men, and raped the women. So that now we are the ones who, we all have both the genetic legacy of both. And we who are called are now the ones who can embody the full magic of Lilith, which is the knowledge of how to transform energy. We're literally being called to transform this reality because it's, as we can all see, it's at the end of its road. It's going to end up killing everything unless it's transformed into a higher expression of its potential. That's who I believe, that's who Lilith is to me. Now, we will all see a different side of her. She's all not, that's her consciousness is the both and, not the either or that we've been kind of told to do. So that's what I feel what we're calling in over these next 11 months, 12 months, a little more with as each month goes by, so that we are holding the fullness of all we are and all we're connected to and all we're called to become.
And
I want to say one more thing about her, though, that's really important for this timing, and that is that Lilith takes almost exactly 9 years to move all the way around the zodiac. And she spends almost exactly 9 months in every sign of the zodiac. And she spends almost exactly 9 days in every degree of the zodiac. And we are beginning this journey, and for most of our journey, but not all of it, while Lilith is in the moon's own sign of Cancer. In some ways, this is as close as as Lilith can come to us. She's in the same energy zone of our being where the moon is most powerful. We can hear her most clearly. We can receive her most fully.
It was just a complete surprise. I think in an astrology reading with Emma Kupu Mitchell, she had probably mentioned my Black Moon Lilith, but I wasn't focused at all. And if you were with us for part one, you heard the wild story, and it's wild, of Jeanne d'Arc crashing into Susie von Menzenkamp's meditation and telling her 12 witches, 12 moons, 12 this, 12 that, and then basically saying, oh, for heaven's sakes, call Janet. So that's how this whole crazy thing started. And Susie and I were working with Jeanne's request. And then on February 7th, I got this weird little message from Kathy Pratt in Vermont. Kathy's been in lots and lots and lots of my prayer intensives. And she said, I know this sounds a little weird, but Black Moon Lilith just crashed my deep soul writing. Would you like to hear what she had to say? And I thought, well, hey, if Jeanne d'Arc can crash Susie's meditation, sure, go ahead. Tell me what she had to say. Well, Kathy, Black Moon Lilith has had a lot to say, right?
She's had a lot to say. So, yes, I do Janet's amazing writing down your soul method. And a lot of times it's just exploring different ideas I'm wondering about. But sometimes I usually end up in a cave, and the people that I meet are in this cave. So for a couple weeks, I had been seeing sort of out of the corner of my eye, the cave is dark, it's underground, this very black, almost like, imagine a shadow in the dark. So it's almost a hole in the dark, shape of a person. And there were golden shimmers on her. I assume she was a woman. But she kind of made me a little bit on edge, and she was just there with me. I wasn't speaking with her. So on February 7th, what I wrote in my handy dandy journal that I love more than anything, dearest dark mother, you are outside today. Why are we outside? I'm taking you to meet Black Moon Lilith. We will meet under a great oak that is thousands of years old. Lilith is trickster, playing within the moving shadows of the tree. She smells of rocks. She's moving about and hard to see, for she won't keep still. She's wrapping me in a swirl of protection. My heart does not have to always be so vulnerable. The evolution of this is she does a lot of like electrical sort of energy work on me that I don't really understand, but I'm glad to hear, Marcia, that you talked about that. The Earth Mother Lilith is teaching me to be okay in my skin. My body is perfection, and I am blessed to have this human vessel. The fun is just beginning. Lilith looks of shadows and light and angles. She says, enough is enough. Time for respect. Step into a shadow for refuge, for rest. These are holy shadows. Holy shadows are our places of rest. The sunshine is lovely, but the dark places, the womb, the blood, the dirt, the nests below the recesses of the trees are all part of her cycles and part of life. Lilith, what part will I play in this? Let Janet know I see her and I love her. Let Janet know her work is holy. Her following is necessary for the mother love to come into being. You are all sisters. The sisters is like one big ripple on the water spreading. Support each other, listen, speak to each other, create together. This land has been waiting for you. I've been here since the beginning of time, the beginning of stories. My perspective is vast. My perspective lands on you all now. I've been here for all eternity. The dark moon is my favorite time. Follow each other down the steps to my chamber. Drink the dark of the moon. Here, rich wisdom will be found. The resources you all will need are here in the under. Bring many to me, for then we shall shift this world. For many of you, the information here will challenge your ways of being in the world. Remember that this holy shadow is safe, and know that you, in your dark times, are never alone. You have each other. Be there for one another. Hold each other's hands and hearts. Reassure each other. Be present for each other. Walk this path with your divine sisters, for that is what you all are, divine. And I will always be near. We are sisters equal in love. No one of us is better than another. We each play our crucial part. Speak, be love, for this is a spell. Actively speak it in the way you live, who you spend your time with, how you create. So that was February 7th. And then 2 evenings ago, Lilith came back and gave me the shorter one. Let my messages go far and wide. Now is the time. Gather your sisters, clear the way, prepare yourselves for big change. It is coming. You are welcoming it. Empty yourselves as much as possible. So when spirit fills you, you can drink it into every cell, every flicker of electricity in your cells, every molecule of your bones. You all are individuals that make the creative whole. No one of you can do this alone. I oversee all of you. You are safe, and this journey will be long. No one will come out the same as you went in. Your eyes will sense differently. Your ears will know in different ways. Your heart will open like never before. The hard work is worth every speck. Do not doubt yourselves, no matter how odd your voices seem. Your ancestors are holding you all. If you could see and feel the love we have for you, you would be astonished. Reset yourself by saying, I am listening. During work, I am listening. In your daily life, I am listening. During sleep, I am listening. Doing chores, I am listening. Before long, this will become second nature, and your allies here will be able to fully support you at all times, and you will know in every moment, I am listening.
So Marcia, isn't this something to actually have a conversation, a direct message from Black Moon Lilith? I'm just covered in goosebumps. She's so...
Thank you so much for receiving and for sharing.
Yeah, can you imagine being me and I get this email that Black Moon Lilith is saying, tell Janet we see her and we love her. So when that message came, I contacted Emma Cooper Mitchell faster than, and I said, Black Moon Lilith, can we talk a little bit about Black Moon Lilith? And Black Moon Lilith kind of took over. She is the heart and the soul of Remembering the Songlines of the Witches, because she is you in the not yet. She is this incredible mystic witch that you have always been, but haven't been able to bring to life in a world where women are denigrated and tortured and raped. And now she is saying, I remember you. Now, what I'm hearing and connecting the dots, so we have these two mystic witches, Jeanne d'Arc, who I always say is the greatest mystic witch of all time, and Black Moon Lilith, who is the mystic witch. I didn't know they were in cahoots. I thought we were creating something for Jeanne, but Jeanne called in Black Moon Lilith. So what I'm just hearing now, Marcia and Kathy, in what Black Moon Lilith just told you 2 nights ago is I am listening, I am listening, I am listening. What is Jeanne d'Arc famous for? She listened to her voices. And I don't want to try to do this from memory. I want you to see it. When Susie and Emma and I thought we were finished with this very rich, this is the largest, richest landing page I have ever created. There are videos on, and there's just a massive amount of information here. And we thought we were finished. And we're on Zoom together, Susie in Ireland, Emma in Hawaii. And my hands are over the keyboard because we were doing a little bit of editing. And this came through. This is verbatim from Jeanne d'Arc. I have called Susie, Emma, and Janet to gather you, to form my new and holy army. I told them this mystery school is your initiation. You are invited to remember and be remembered by the truth of who you are and who you came here to be. I am calling 108 maidens. I told Susie 108 is the critical mass. This, I know, is true. 108 maidens have the power to change the world. My hands are shaking as I'm typing this, but I have to keep typing because right? I changed the world once. I listened to my voices and freed my world from oppression. I ask you now to listen to your voices and free your world. Does this feel daunting? Here are the words that carried me. I give them now to you. Je n'ai pas peur. I'm not afraid. For this I was born. Je n'ai pas peur. I'm not afraid. For this I was born. Thank you, Black Moon Lilith. This is going to become my mantra now. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm going to say it first thing when I wake, last thing before I sleep. I'm listening. I'm listening. So we're going to listen to 11 witches, and we're going to listen to Black Moon Lilith, and we're going to listen to who we came here to be. Oh, this feels...
Look, Susie's here.
Hmm?
Susie's here.
Susie's here! Oh, Susie! Susie, my goodness, it's late in Ireland. Oh, did you just hear your story?
Just
Say hello to everybody. We've been talking about Ernst.
wow. I was just on another call. I was on a course that I'm doing, so I literally got off that call, but so grateful to be here because we were talking about predictive dreams and being woken in the middle of the night. That's one of the things we were talking about, different states of consciousness and how spirit will use every opportunity to get in contact with us. And whilst people will have it in a slightly dream state where they're not really physically, awake, some people are awake like you are, Janet, and taking notes, and that's what we were talking about, just all the different ways that spirit will come and connect with us to pass messages on. And we were doing that this evening. It's been really like we were learning about all the different brain states that you're in. So yeah, it's profound to see where the messages that come through each and every one of us, because I know they've come from other people, not just me too. And we just follow up and we make the call or we give we pass on the message. And then we hope to God that's it, and we try to get out of the way. But it's like then I think on the other side they say, oh well, she listens, she pays attention, so they keep coming back and again and again, and that's really what we've been doing for the last couple of months, listening, deep listening, tuning in. So thanks. I'm glad I got on here.
I'm thrilled to have you here. And in the deep listening department, look at who else is with us. Sabin Bailey, who brought us, she brings me the voice of Jeanne d'Arc, everything that I have created. First thing I do, when Jeanne d'Arc crashed into Susie's meditation, the first person I contacted was Sabin. We gotta have chats with Jen. And Jen is the one that said she would give me what I think you and I have gotten together 4 times, and Jen would do the next piece and the next piece, like saying that this is my new and holy army. That's from Jen to Sabin. And Ernst spoke to us through Sabin over and over and over again during the pilgrimage. Sabin, would you like to say hello? Sabin will be conducting the opening ceremony on Tuesday, summer solstice. And in order for everybody in the world, right now we spread from Hawaii to Finland. The best time for the most of us to be able to get together live is 2 o'clock Eastern. That goes to 8 a.m. in Hawaii to 9 p.m. in Finland. Sabin, it's such a joy, always a joy to be with you and work with you and create with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so honored to be here with Marcia and you and with Susie and Kathy that I know. And I'm so happy to meet those of you I don't know yet. I think what I'd like to say is that I'm in awe of these women that are collaborating to provide an opportunity for us to dive deep into our feminine power, into our own sovereignty. The level of information that they are holding, that Janet, Marcia, and Susie and Kathy are holding, and also Emma and Lahala, is mind-boggling. It's so complex. There are so many threads interwoven through it all. It's sort of like, I keep thinking, I'm pretty good at cross stitch, but this is like hand sewing a huge tapestry. So I'm just honored to get to participate.
And we are so honored anytime we get to spend time with. So Sabin and I met yesterday to talk about the opening ceremony, and we know a couple of things we're going to do, but she said, I really can't tell you right now because the Divine Feminine, Our Lady, and Jeanne d'Arc, they will tell me what we're going to do. So we will all be together on Tuesday for the miracle of the opening ceremony to put Remembering the Songlines of the Witches in.
Janet, may I say something about that?
Please, please.
I've been working with Our Lady in her many forms, for most of my life, and she really doesn't allow me to do things in a linear fashion. So when we did the Witch's Return last year, sometimes she would just give me things right at the last minute, and that perfection part of me would go, don't make me wait so long. This is really excruciating. But I trust it because she always comes through. So after we spoke yesterday, she started giving me information, and I don't have it all yet, but I can tell you it's like the little reveal, because we're all here together today. She gave me 2 cards that are not for individuals at all. It's for the collaboration and the collective. So they're going to be the anchor points energetically via the tarot and through numerology. The first one she gave me was the 9 of Wands, and the second one was the 7 of Wands. So I'm going to send you photos, Janet, and so then we'll find out the rest of the story. But it feels really exciting.
Everything, playing with everyone who has created this. They're all just Mystic Witch sisters, and everyone who's coming is a Mystic Witch sister. somebody was saying, was it you, Marcia? Somebody was talking about receiving, oh, it was you, Susie, receiving information in the night. This is how I live. I go to sleep with paper. This is last night's. And of course, you can't read it. It's this chicken scratchy tiny, because my eyes are closed and I just write, but I write. I write, exactly what I am told or hear, because haven't you all had this experience? You hear something in the night, it's a beautiful idea, it's a little prayer, it's a poem, and in the morning, it's gone. Well, I'm not going to allow it to be gone, so I sleep with paper. And what she gave me was how the ceremony, the opening ceremony, will close. It's exactly what I'm to say. I reread it this morning and just burst into tears at the beauty of it. So of course we're here to say, come and remember who you really are. The mystic witch you have carried lifetime after lifetime. She's been waiting. And she's not going to wait. She doesn't need to wait anymore. Does anybody have any questions, ideas, thoughts? You can put them in chat. You can unmute yourself and ask. It's a lot, do spend time at the landing page. We've made videos, and there's just a massive amount of information here, because this isn't just a cute little, go ahead, Michelle, and unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I live in Kona on the Big Island of Hawaii. I guess the question I had is, I know that there's a monthly gathering. What kind of is the in between the gatherings?
That's that little hex picture I showed you. So yes, we have the ceremony on the Saturday before each dark moon to meet the witch, to receive their medicine, to learn about the astrology. That's a ceremony. And then we won't gather again as a community until the 3/4 moon. So in between, we'll be giving you, in particular, the Deep Soul Writing piece is mine, things to do and explore and questions to ask to begin to really embody this medicine and wrestle with the shadow. But you don't have to do it alone. So once we know everyone that has registered, and I'll be inviting you to say, well, okay, what time zone do you live? Where do you live? Do you want to be able to meet in person? And so there will be these small groups, maybe 6 people, that will get together on their own whenever you want to just talk and share and explore. Have a little fire ceremony to release the shadow. So 2 group meetings, the ceremony to meet the witch, the 3/4 moon to celebrate the witch, and then all kinds of fun small gatherings, as many or as few as you want in between. Does that answer your question, Michelle?
Yes. Yeah. I'm just trying to, logistics in this day and age, that's all. Thank you.
Well, and it is. Emma and Susie and I had to think for a long time, because the dark moon, it could be a Tuesday, it could be a Sunday. And if we said, well, we're going to meet on the dark moon, my goodness, the schedule would be wild. So what we did with guidance, let me see if I can show it to you. When you get down to the bottom, here you go. Here's the schedule. So here's the little explanation of when we get together as a group and what you do with your hex maidens in between. And then if you want to write it in your calendar, here's the dark moon Saturdays, and then this is the 3/4 moon. And these are just fun. We get together, we celebrate, we talk. So the schedule is on the landing page.
Thanks very much.
Madeline, you have your hand up.
The landing page is Songline. If you just Google Songlines of the
Let me make that so much easier for you. It's all on my website. Now, Susie has it on her website as well. So my name is Janet Connor, spelled with an E. And so if you go to this is what it's going to look like when you get to janetconnor.com. You can see there I am. And right there on the homepage, oh, there it is, Remembering the Songlines of the Witches. You click on that. Now you're on this, and it's janetconner.com/songlines. But all you have to remember is Janet Conner. Plus, Marcia will have the exact link to janetconner.com/songlines when she sends out the recording for this. There it is. And take a breath. Take your time if you haven't been here before. There's the first video with Susie and Emma and I telling the story of Jen crashing her meditation. I try to answer as many questions as I can. So take your time when you come here. But I do have one fun thing. This is all about this wild map. I've got to show this to you because I think it's just the cutest thing. I mean, there's a lot here. And look, you get to meet Ernst. And scroll down. I want to get you to Hildemore. Here's Hildemore. My Neil Felt Wilchdahl. She woke me up in the middle of the night one night and dictated. It's only 35 lines long. You could call it a poem. And it's very clear about what Remembering the Songlines of the Witches is all about. And it's in her voice. So be sure you listen to her. She's just the wildest, cutest, most fun thing. So Madeline.
Madeline. I'm sorry,
Madeline.
I'm just trying to get rid of this virtual background. Bear with me.
Oh, I like that. It's pointing right at you.
Yes. Wow. And yes, I've just realised I wanted to ask you more about the songlines, but I can see from what you've just shown that there's a lot of information on your website, which I will go and have a look at. Let me just shuffle this.
And it's a lot. But I do this all the time. If you've ever been on any of my prayer intensives, I try to answer all the questions. Like I try to tell you everything I can. There's always videos. And if anybody has any questions, my email is janet@janetconner, or you can do contact at my website, or I can put it in chat, and I'm happy to answer anybody's questions.
Since I have you here, could I ask you quickly? My understanding of songlines is songs that get sung along ley lines, but obviously it seems to me that songlines has a bigger meaning. But I just wondered, is there any aspect of this that involves singing and ley lines? And
it is such an exciting word. So yes, we all know about the ley lines in the earth, right? Everybody's kind of on top of that. And we know that indigenous peoples, Aboriginal peoples, they know how to follow the ley lines, the songlines of the earth. Scroll ahead to, this is sort of our, almost like a textbook. I hope you're all familiar with the bees, the wisdom of the bees, song of increase. This book is holy. Well, the bees follow the songlines of light. Oh, right. And so we're going to be doing this Taurus anointing, uniting the ley lines of the earth with the bees, the songlines, the grid of light in the earth. And we're united in our body. Well, your body has 108 marma points. Your body has ley lines. So this word songlines just unites heaven and earth. It's just the most exciting word. And we will be literally singing the songlines, the 11 medicines of the witches. We will be singing the songlines of the earth. We'll be singing the songlines of the bees. It's a very evocative, exciting word, isn't it?
Janet, you know what I've realized since I've been part of this collaboration is that's really what astrology is. The songlines through which the universe, the many different songlines of the planets, stars, and galaxies are talking to us.
Right. But it's not a word people typically use. So, and I can't tell you, Madeline, that, oh, I have the definition. It's a discovery. We're going to make this discovery together. How can we hear the songlines of the earth and the songlines of the stars and the songlines of our bodies and the songlines of the bees?
Will the seed medicine include songs?
Well, I sing, I chant all my prayers. And so, yeah, we will be singing the songlines of the witches, the seed medicine of the witches. We sing in the anointing. Yeah.
Perfect.
'Cause
Thank
it's
you very much.
fun,
Yeah, absolutely. Singing.
right?
Fantastic.
So I see Kathy and Janet. If you don't mind muting yourself, Madeline, I see Kathy and Janet and Stephanie with their hands up. Kathy?
I just wanted to say, sort of in gratitude for Janet and Emma and everybody that I've done these classes with. I know we have a hard time with what do we exactly call it. If anybody's on the fence, but there's something niggling that this is calling me, even if you haven't heard your particular thing, I think this is just the time for all of us to show up from all different places and focuses, and we all bring our medicine. And this community I feel like I was living halfway before I found these people. And it's been, I mean, I'm pretty quiet but I've found part of my voice. The support that is in this community is in every form, and nobody's ever forced to do anything. And it just feels like home.
That's it. We're coming home to ourselves. We're coming home to her.
Yeah.
Janet. I love calling on Janet. Janet.
Well, I have to say it's been very adorable to hear my name, but it's not me all these many times. It's really so precious. And I'm like, okay, universe, I get it, because I didn't know that this was about a program that was coming up. So I have to say, first of all, I really love your personality, Janet, and I love to use the word mirth because it makes me laugh, but it really does express like the bubbliness and I love the profoundness, the depth, the intelligence, the exquisite understanding of the maturity of consciousness that expands into ancient times and futures and nows and everything, but with this bubbliness. I cannot tell you how that is so me also. So I'm just so grateful to the universe. I'm so grateful to Marsha, who I'm always in awe anytime she speaks anything. I'm just always so grateful that I happen to be there in the moment. And and I'm not surprised. I'm like, of course something exquisite would come from something Marsha introduces, So, and then I just have to thank you also for mentioning Lilith, and then Kathy for your writing. And because here in Sedona where I live, I sometimes feel like the wildness of my spirit out there, and I'm like, I know that my wildness, I'm like, I so honor and cherish and want to integrate more with that. And I honestly, I'm just feeling the most incredible vibration ever since the mention of Lilith and the wildness, and then Kathy's writing. And I was worried. I was like, oh gosh, so there's a program. Oh gosh, I wonder if I can afford it because I'm going through a certain period. And then I immediately went to the website, janetconnor.com. When you mentioned it, I scrolled down to the bottom. I'm like, oh, thank you for making it possible with the payments and stuff. Thank you so much. And then, but I can't tell you, I'm just being graced with this amazing flood of almost like this free flowing mantra about money that I'm feeling the healing right now, like of like a healing of the fear and stuff, and the reconnection with my innate bounty that kind of got, well, for whatever reasons, just kind of anyway. So and just the beauty, and thank you for everybody who has spoken. Michelle in Kona, I think you mentioned Kona. I happen to adore Kona. It's the only place I've been in Hawaii, and I adore it so much. And then I also love Finland. You mentioned Finland. I've been to Scandinavia. I've been to Helsinki, and then who was it that spoke with the British accent?
Susie in Ireland.
Susie, yes, I adore England. I've been to the UK countless times. So I really am feeling this so much, and I'm so grateful. And as soon as you started speaking, I realized, I'm like, thank you, yes, because our our common denominator cultural landscape, let's put it that way, although not everybody tunes into the same thing of it. I'm like, no, I really need to have to supplant that with something much more deep and meaningful, and to cultivate my divine feminine presence in the world more. And but the fun of it also is just so great. And of course I wouldn't do it something just for fun. It's that the fun in
But it
combination
is. It's
and the beauty
fun to wake
and the
up.
bees. And
It's
I
fun.
so resonate with bees, and they're so critical right now. It's such a beautiful symbol about the sheer vitality, the sheer necessariness of all of this. So I can't thank you enough. And literally, like, the grace I'm feeling right now, I just, it's just,
Well, I have a gift for you about your name, and then we're going to talk to Stephanie and Elena. Do you know what Janet means? I was shocked to find out that Janet means Little Joan.
yes, I learned that in my Catholic school. Yes.
Well, I didn't. I don't know how I missed it. I mean, come on. My mother gave me Jeanne d'Arc's name. Who knew? So thank you, Janet Little Joan, Stephanie, and then Elena.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Marsha. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm Stephanie from New York. And so many blessings and lots of love to everyone. I resonate with so much of what has been shared, and certainly the people that you've been speaking about, Mary Magdalene and Joan of Arc, certainly. My question is, out of respect for your seminars and your process that you're going to start on the solstice, I haven't, I don't usually open myself up and allow an entity or a spirit to plant a seed in me that I don't really know, or that, so I take this very, very seriously. But out of respect, if I did choose to attend, is it disrespectful if I'm not ready to be planted? But I am very curious, and I feel alignment with your cause and your purpose, and respect your work. But again, opening myself up to a spirit or a witch entity that I don't know, I'm not first online, to be planted.
Well, what I'm sensing, Stephanie, and it is the indoctrination that we have all received lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, that witches are bad, entities are bad, that word entity, bah, right? And so we have been conditioned by all of our religions. The devil is bad, Lilith is bad, original sin is bad. All of these things are bad, and we have to protect ourselves from them. My experience, beginning with discovering deep soul writing, has been that all of that is a lie. All of that is a lie. Now, it took me a long time to get here. The divine voice within, the subtitle of my book, Writing Down Your Soul, is How to Activate and Listen to the Extraordinary Voice Within. The extraordinary voice within is sacred and holy, and she loves me and she guides me, and there is absolutely no danger. There is no devil. I was shocked to learn, I've done a lot of research about the goddess culture, that the devil is made up, completely made up, in the 1100s by the Catholic Church. There is no devil. So any fear, I don't have any. I adore being open to the angels and the saints and the witches of old who are surrounding me with love. Now, having said that, however, if you, upon meeting a particular witch, hearing what their medicine is, are uncomfortable, then my thought would be to have a conversation with them in deep soul writing, in dreaming, in meditation, in staring out the window, and ask them, or ask the medicine. If the medicine, for example, is open your eyes, peel away the lies, what is it uncomfortable about that? What is the shadow in that? What is the mystery in that? So I know I'm not exactly answering your question, because that's an exploration I think you have to have. What I just wanted to say is my experience in years now of prayer intensives and deep soul writing is we have been told to be afraid of something that isn't scary at all. It's actually our goddess strength. It's who we really are. It's our sovereignty. It's the goddess alive in and through and as each one of us. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you so much.
Elena? And then, I see Susie is going to jump into the conversation. Did you want to jump in now, Susie, or shall we?
Yeah, just to finish what you were just saying there, because I really understand where you're coming from there, Stephanie. I come to everything kicking and screaming myself personally. I know I'm onto something when I feel the level of resistance that I usually feel. And that's coming from my own fear, the fear of the unknown, and maybe all the old things that were planted in my mind from, Grimm's fairy tales about witches to God knows what. And I've had to really grow up, in this process. I've kind of grown out of my kind of fear-based kind of child innocent mind and scared of everything, and move into the divine feminine and the wisdom that's available to me when I really sit in meditation, and I come to the center of myself and in a very balanced place, and then meet that part of myself first and foremost. That's my introduction to that. And the beauty with working with Janet and Emma and Marcia and all the different people that I've met through the last year or so on these programs is that I felt really safe and held in a very supportive container to explore it through the deep soul writing, to explore it through kind of really just staying with that kind of discomfort and resistance, and then feeling that and allowing it. It's like that kind of dark night of the soul, but waking up the next day feeling, wow, a lot stronger, a lot more resilient, and it's very playful, and so hopefully you'll feel the support and the love within the structure of the container that we open and create for each other. And I think that's the beauty of the hex maidens, that you'll each have your own sort of, like, that's how I've really developed. We used to do these UK watch parties, and there might be 5 or 6 of us, and we'd be doing the deep soul writing and just really uncovering those layers within ourselves, So it's, if that's any way helpful, I hope it is. That's why I wanted to share it, that there's so much kind of love and support while you go through this part of the journey. Like, you're not doing it on your own. So
Yeah, be sure you watch the top video on remembering the songlines of the witches, because Susie and Evan and I talk about our different ways of responding to something. How do you know if an event is right for you, or a book is right for you, or a teacher is right for you? And my body shakes and goes, oh, okay, yeah. And Emma hears things and sees things, and Susie said that her body goes, no. And it's so funny but everybody has a different way of their body, their being, identifying, yep, this is for me. Elena, thank you for your beautiful patience.
Well, I was very, you had 2 people talking that it was answering my doubts within me, in the respect of, I felt the resistance within me. And there is no doubt in my heart that I've been a witch many lifetimes. I have even burned at the stake, many lifetimes. But anyway, but there is a resistance, and I really don't know what it is. But one of the people that talked, I don't remember her name. I'm so sorry. I think she was the person from Ireland. But she expresses so beautifully about that resistance, that it just really opened up my heart. And I even feel like crying. You know how hard life has been for all of us. And I'm so powerful, but I'm afraid of my own power.
That's the witch. That's the witch. And your tears, Elena, are so holy. Those are holy tears. And you're confirming something at when Susie and Emma and I worked 5 months on the landing page for this, on creating it. And I thought I knew what I was doing, but look at what happened, and I think this is what you're feeling, Elena. So, okay, I gotta tell people what it is. It's a radical, time-looping, 13 Dark Moon Witch Mystery School to remember and be remembered by the medicines, prayers, and songlines of 11 mystic witches from the once was, who come forward now to prepare you to remember and be remembered by the 12th witch, she who has waited for lifetimes in your not yet. But now, this is the magic piece. So those are the facts, so to speak. It's she who is beckoning. She who has been tapping on your heart. She is calling now. Come. Let us walk our moons together. Come. Let us sing the songlines of the witches. Come. Let us remember who we really are. That's, I think, who
It says it all.
when that came through, I was like, oh my goddess,
Wow.
that's it. And
That's it.
that's not Janet. I mean, Susie and Emma and I worked as hard as we could to create this and put some structure on it. But that's Black Moon Lilith. That's the witch that you came here to be. And she's been, how many lifetimes has she been saying, come on, babe, come on, come on. And it was scary and dangerous. And yeah, we got tired of being killed. But now.
I know, well, my purpose this time around is to work with the grid. I'm connecting the universal to the earth grid. So when you brought the grid and the ley lines into focus, I knew I have no choice, But anyway, I'm just very, very grateful. My heart feels deeply right now. No words.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely gonna check your website and enjoy. I love Marcia. I've been working with her, listening to her beautiful, beautiful stories. I love it. I don't call it. I don't feel like it's mythology. It's real thing. It really is everything that is supposed to be, unreal is real, and what is supposed to be real is unreal. And so I just love it. I love what is unfolding. I love the beauty that is unfolding. The beauty is beyond words. And I'm ready to, I think this part in my life is going to help me so much to really finish embodying every part of me, that's supposed to be in my physical right now. So
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Marcia. Love you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Janet.
Janet, I just wanted to say, Elena, that was so beautiful. I'm so glad you mentioned beauty, because that's something I've always resonated with, beauty and truth. And which is not a word I've identified with, and sometimes it would make me uncomfortable, but you immediately came through with just the energy of it. I was like, the word, with all due respect, it's like, okay, don't even focus on that. It's the energy, it's the meaning, and it's okay, as I said, with all due respect. And now I'm fine with it. And I also just wanted to mention that I was in a very deep yoga practice when I was 20, and with a real yogi from India, and he always said that 108 were the types of yoga, and that so there's 108 in a lot of ways, in the sacredness of the world. So yay.
Yeah, 108 is her number. It's a very sacred number. Well,
Lilith's number? It's Lilith's number?
It's the divine feminine.
The divine feminine. Okay, thank you.
It is the feminine number. Well, Marcia, this has been an extraordinary conversation, and clearly we could do this for 3 more hours, but I dare
You have a
say,
birthday to celebrate.
oh, this is my celebration. And my son sent flowers, and Hildemore's with me, and my sister-in-law sent flowers, and Jen is with me. This is
Can
how.
we sing happy birthday to Janet? Everybody, can you unmute?
Oh, that's going to sound wild.
I know on Zoom. I've never sung happy birthday on Zoom. Everybody ready? If that's okay, Martha.
Sure.
Okay, start us off, Martha, maybe.
Happy birthday
to
To
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to you.
birthday
Happy birthday, Janet.
happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
To you.
I
Here's a
thank
song line.
you. Thank you. And this is a very special birthday because it just so happens that my natal chart is exactly in sync with those 9 years of Black Moon Lilith. And so I am starting today, day 1 of a new 9-year walk with her. So are we complete, Marcia? Is there anything else?
We are.
All right.
It's been really wonderful to be here with everyone. Thank you all
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thank you.
coming. And I hope soon.
Thank you so much, Marcia. Love you.
Thank you, Janet. Love you so much and happiest birthday.
Have a great birthday, Janet. Bye.
Bye,
Thank you, Janet.
everybody.